Marlo has really been keeping it cute, because if I was Marlo, I'd have been like, bitch, wasn't you just crying about that $1,000 lawsuit? What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're gonna talk about it. So today we are reviewing The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 12. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend and you're prepared for an even better week. I have mixed feelings on this episode because, in all honesty, I do feel a way that we are in season 15 and we are speaking about something that happened a couple seasons ago. Like, I want my money back. I feel a way about it. Why are we still talking about the Bolo situation? Why? So let's get into it. But before we do not forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. You already know the vibe, okay? So as this episode opens up, they did refresh our memory of Drew asking producers, I don't even know where this Latoya situation is coming from. I don't even know how that came about. And the producer is like,
Latoya said it at the reunion.
And Drew was like,
oh, yeah. Well, Latoya told me that Candy's the one who told her to say that.
Girl, but 5 seconds ago, you just said that you don't know where all of this is coming from. So you do know. Look, Drew, I was just starting to like you. I said that in my last review. Like, okay, I'm starting to like Drew. But now you getting with that line and acting stuff. And we right back where we started. And I know a lot of people don't like Candy. I've seen a lot of people say that Candy is the type to throw rocks and hide her hand. And okay, I can see that. I can see how Candy can be really shady sometimes. But we ain't never caught Candy in a lie. And we have seen the majority of people who have said something about Candy or who have accused Candy of something had to come right back around and apologize and admit that they were lying, right? I'm gonna just put that out there because that's what we've seen. So Candy is lying about you kissing Latoya. Latoya was lying, right? That she kissed you when she mentioned that at the reunion. Was Mimi Foss also lying when she claimed that you and Ty were messing around? So everybody and their mama is just lying on Drew. Damn, Drew. Why everybody lying on you? That's not nice. So we see Candy is leaving Portugal. You already know how Candy does Real Housewives of Atlanta. At this point, Candy just shows up so she doesn't get fined, okay? She shoots her little scenes and she's like, all right, I'll see y'all later. I gotta go over to my real jobs. Next, we see Monyetta with Kenya, and Kenya is letting her know, like, girl, in the past 2 weeks, I have been in an ambulance and in the hospital more than I have been, like, in my entire life. And she's like, did someone put roots on me?
Who put roots on me?
So now Monyetta is filling Kenya in with all the drama that happened last night between the ladies, you know, with Drew claiming that she never kissed Latoya. And they actually showed us footage of Candy calling everybody to confirm that that's what actually happened. Candy got a confirmation from Cynthia, and she's just tallying up all the people who seen Drew kiss Latoya. And Candy speak on it. She said the reason why she's going so hard was because she doesn't like people to call her a liar. I can definitely relate to that. Like, say what you want about me, but do not say that I did something that I didn't do, okay? And don't say that I'm making something up about you when we both know the truth, okay? When we both see each other, don't do that. Don't do that. So now Candy feels like she has to see it through because this girl is calling me a liar, and that's not the case. Now we find out that Marlo was recording footage and she actually sent that footage to Latoya. Now in my last review, I already let y'all know that both Marlo and Monyetta had recorded because Candy did mention it in last week's Speak on It. So at this point in the episode, the ladies only know that Marlo recorded and that she sent that footage to Latoya. And child, when that happened, Latoya actually called Drew and they discussed it. And come to find out, Latoya is now saying that her and Drew didn't kiss. But girl, you said it at the reunion. So what's going on? Like, y'all are really doing too much with this whole situation. And in all honesty, I promise you, we really couldn't care less. We could not care any less about Drew kissing a girl. The problem is Drew might be a little bi-curious, which is fine, but because her parents are Christian, right? Isn't her mom like a pastor or a preacher or something? Drew seems like one of those people who'll do what she wants to do in the dark. And then if someone tries to expose it, she will fight tooth and nail and call you a liar, liar, pants on fire, just so that she won't have to admit that she did something that her parents or her family or her religion might not approve of. And I think that's where we're at with it. But what I'm hoping does not happen is that y'all drag this shit out for another 3 episodes. I remember during that whole Bolo Gate season, I was so annoyed with Kenya because I was like, okay, How long are we going to try to figure out if Portia had sex with Bolo? Who cares? Like, okay, it's a funny key for like an episode, but after it started dragging and dragging into more and more episodes, I'm like, what is going on? Who gives a damn? Y'all better wrap this shit up, episode 13, okay? So now we see Drew having a conversation with Sheree about this whole Latoya situation, and we see Drew say maybe the stupidest thing that we've ever seen her say. Like, okay. Drew tells Sheree that maybe the reason why Kandi is lying about her kissing Latoya is because Kandi wants her in her new movie, and maybe Kandi is trying to warm Drew up to the idea of kissing a girl because she has to do that in the movie. Drew, what? I'm offended because Drew thinks we're stupid. Drew thinks we're stupid. Girl, this movie thing with Kandi just came about. Latoya claims that she kissed you seasons ago. So what are you talking about? Did Kandi look into the future, know that she was going to be making a movie, know that she was going to be casting you? So she said, let me conspire with Latoya so that Latoya can lie about kissing Drew, so that in the future, when I have this movie, I can bring that back up as a way to promote the movie and to warm Drew up into kissing a girl. Drew, what? Drew, I was just starting to like you. And to me, the fact that Drew is jumping through these hoops and just making these ridiculous accusations, that all that's doing is making me believe, yeah, girl, you kissed Latoya. And you probably did a little bit more. Allegedly, I'm just saying, you're doing a lot to cover it up. So it's just looking like you're lying. It's looking like you're lying. And on top of that, you're an actress, right? So if the role calls for you to kiss a girl, either you're going to kiss the girl or they're just going to find someone else for the role. No one has to warm you up into doing it. Either you read the script and you're okay with what's in the script, or you say, no, Kandi, I can't do this, and they find somebody else. You did the movie, right? So what the hell are you talking about? I don't think you needed to be warmed up to anything. Drew? Anyways, so next we see that the ladies are going to a sound bath. Kenya is on time for once. Sheree says this sound bath is supposed to be, you know, for healing. That's the whole purpose of the trip. On the bus, on the way to the sound bath, we find out that Monyetta used to be a rapper. Monyetta is a jack of all trades, okay? In every episode, we finding out something new about Monyetta. So she's a choreographer, right? She has a orphanage in Africa, okay? We find out that she does secret video recordings like Marlo. We gonna get to that, okay? We gonna get to that. And we find out that she also used to be a rapper. Okay, that's cute. So in another van, we see that Kenya and Drew are discussing that Courtney has been kind of cold and standoffish to Drew, her cousin, right? And I'll say this about Courtney. She does a lot to me. Like, I don't see it for Courtney. She definitely wants to pick a fight, but I can appreciate that she doesn't back down, okay? She's gonna say what she wanna say. She's gonna speak her mind. She's gonna buck up to who she wanna buck up to. Granted, we can tell that she's reaching, but it's entertaining. So thank you, Courtney, for your services. So the ladies arrive to the sound bath and they're all laying down, and production is showing us clips of what the ladies are thinking about during their relaxation time in the sound bath. Sheree is thinking about her new granddaughter, and Sonia is thinking about fixing the relationship with her sister. Drew is thinking about the issues between herself and Ralph, of course. Kenya's thinking about Brooklyn and wanting another baby to give Brooklyn a sibling because she loves Brooklyn so much. And then they show Marlo thinking about Scotty. And I said, bitch, I know you lying. Marlo is not thinking about no Scotty, okay? Marlo's probably thinking about her real man, her sponsor, right? And vacation homes and yachts. If you didn't check out the video I did on Marlo Hampton yesterday, go check that out. So the ladies wake up and they're discussing what they saw and how the sound bath made them feel. And Drew says that she saw her kids and her husband Ralph is waiting for her. Child, in Marlo's confessional, Marlo was like, Ralph is not waiting for you, sweetie. He's on the Vegas Strip with another woman, like, as we speak. Marlo is a mess. I can't stand Marlo. I really can't, but Lord, she be having me cracking up. So Kenya starts tearing up, and Sonia, I think it was Sonia, is like, is everything okay? You good? And Kenya's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk. I'm like, girl, Kenya, stop. You know somebody going to ask you what's wrong if they see you tearing up, sis. So the ladies get up to leave, and then Kenya goes to the sound bath specialist. What are they called? Let me see. Well, I know her name was Gita. And she says to her, like, you know, I love my daughter so much. I have such an amazing relationship with her. And sometimes I wonder, like, what I did to deserve such an amazing daughter. And I was like, oh, my God. I tell y'all all the time, the way that Kenya lights up when she's with Brooklyn, you can tell, like, Brooklyn is everything to Kenya. It's so beautiful to see. It's so beautiful to see. But she wants another baby, right? So we're definitely going to see Kenya's journey with that. We know that she has those embryos with Mark. Previously, I said, girl, just use the embryos that you have, because I know that was probably an expensive and such a stressful experience to even harvest those embryos. But the way Mark been showing his ass, I would not want to bring another child into this world with his DNA. Hell no sirree, Bob. The paperwork that y'all have on those embryos got to be like airtight. Like he can't even be able to like claim that kid as his own, to the point where he can't double back and be like, oh no, I want rights to this, I want rights to that. If the paperwork is like that and he literally has no say on anything with this child, he can only discuss matters with you concerning Brooklyn, then I would think about it. But if not, and he can still come back and claim this, that, and the third, don't do it, sis. Don't do it. As they're leaving, Marlo says that that's the best sleep that she's ever had, because she has not been able to sleep well since those 4 men kicked in her door. That is terrifying. I had an incident happen with an ex. This was years and years and years ago, and I know I couldn't sleep I couldn't sleep. I understand, Marlo. I get it. Trust me, I do. So the ladies go and they sit to eat, and Monyetta brings up what happened last night, right? Sheree is telling Kenya what went down because Kenya was not there. That's going to be really important to the ladies at the end of this episode as well, especially Courtney. Kenya was not there, right? So Marlo says that she did send the footage to Latoya because she doesn't want any liars in the group, and she thinks that it's important that if there's a liar in the group, that everyone knows about it. Girl, bye. But it's at this moment that Marlo exposes that Monyetta was also recording. So the ladies didn't know that Monyetta was recording as well. And you would think that once the ladies found out that Monyetta was also recording, especially when Drew found out, because she was really on Marlo's ass about it, that she would be like, Monyetta, girl, what? But Drew didn't give Monyetta that energy. And Monyetta claims that once it was established amongst the ladies that there would be no more cameras, she stopped recording. But Drew only goes in on Marlo. And Drew was like, you need to worry about getting all those cases closed. That's what you need to be worried about. So Drew and Marlo start arguing back and forth. And you know when Marlo argues with you, she gonna bring up what? And my man. Thank you to my man. That's what Marlo's gonna bring up. She gonna go straight for your man every single time. So Marlo brings up that she does technology like Ralph. And that's funny as hell to me, because we don't know what the hell Ralph does. We don't know what the hell Ralph does. And we know Marlo is not in technology. So every time she said that this episode, I was cracking up. Marlo's like, oh, I do technology like your husband. She might as well say, I do technology like your husband, because that's really how she meant it. So they start talking about collusion because Monyetta feels that the way that the ladies were discussing the whole situation, it seemed like collusion. So Kenya jumps in that conversation, and then Courtney pretty much tells her like, girl, you weren't even there, so I don't know why you're speaking. And Kenya's like, well, if you would just shut up so I can talk. And Courtney's like, no, sis, you were not there. You weren't there. So how can you even discuss what's happening and you weren't there? And Kenya's like, girl, just shut up. And Courtney's like, well, I'm not going to shut up. And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And Kenya's like, girl, what? Do you want me to fight you? Like, do you want me to put on some boxing gloves and fight you? Like, girl, shut your ass up. And in true Courtney fashion, just like we saw in episode 1, she's going to take something that's on a level 10 and she's going to bring it to a level 100. So Courtney starts getting loud and she's clearly trying her best to escalate the situation. So Sheree gets up and she is pissed off. She starts tearing up and she's like, this is embarrassing. We just came from this nice, peaceful sound bath and this is how y'all are acting. I'm embarrassed. I'm ready to go. I want no parts of this. So she leaves and the other ladies are still there going back and forth. And Drew is saying, you know, watch out for the snake. And she's referring to Marlo. And then Kenya tells Drew like, girl, no, your cousin Courtney, that's the real snake. Okay. She's a snake too. So then Drew takes Courtney aside and they're having a private conversation. And Drew is just telling Courtney like, look, you need to watch out for Marlo because you see the way that she's acting. You see the things that she's done. So you need to watch out for her. And Courtney is like, hold on. I don't understand why y'all are only giving this energy to Marlo, because you know that Monyetta was also recording. So why is there a double standard? Why are you only coming after Marlo for recording when your homegirl Monyetta was also recording? And Drew claims that they knew that Monyetta was recording, but I don't believe that, because when Marlo exposed that at the table, they all look surprised, like they didn't know Monyetta was recording. Drew's just saying that to save face. So we see the producers ask Monyetta, what is the difference between you recording and Marlo recording? And Monyetta says, yeah, even though we were both recording, Marlo is the one who sent that footage to someone outside of the group. Marlo sent that footage to the person that we were actually speaking about. That's a big difference. And I can agree with that. So, child, the ride back to the hotel is silent. Not a peep on that bus. Everybody on their phone, everybody doing their own thing, but no one is speaking. Not a word. So now later in the episode, we see the ladies are at dinner, okay? And they're just making small talk. Drew lets them know that her and Ralph have just hit their 8 years of marriage. You know, around that 7, 8, that's the magic number when stuff starts going downhill, right? Yeah. Drew says that she's in counseling because we did see in past seasons, right? Her and Ralph were both in marriage counseling. Drew says that now she's the only one in counseling. Now, let me tell you something. If you are in a marriage with somebody and you guys can both recognize that you're having problems, so you decide to go to marriage counseling together, if one of y'all stop going to marriage counseling, to me, that's the person telling you, like, look, I don't even want to do the work anymore, so I'm good. I'll keep going to counseling for myself. But the other person backing out or even refusing to try counseling in the first place is a clear indicator that they don't care enough to want to do the work to fix the relationship. So in that case, what are we doing? Why are we here?
Let's end it now.
That's how I see it. But Drew says that she's just going to pray on it and hopefully Ralph will have a change of heart and he'll decide to go back to marriage counseling with her. And I'm like, okay, girl, but we see that that's not gonna happen. But that counseling thing, when she said that, I'm like, girl, you're in counseling by yourself to fix both y'all marriage. Get out of here. He's playing in your face. So Monyetta lets us know that she spoke to Kandi and Kandi spoke to Toya. Latoya told her that Marlo said that the reason why she sent the video to Latoya was so that Latoya can see pretty much Drew talking about her behind her back, right? Because Marlo claims that Drew speaks highly of Latoya when they're together, but Marlo also wanted Latoya to see how Drew speaks about her when she's not there. And we saw in the footage that Drew was saying, you know, Latoya be lying all the time. You know, Latoya be lying, right? So Marlo wanted Latoya to see that firsthand. Then the ladies, who did this? I think it was Sonya. Sonya calls out Monyetta and she's like, look, girl, we've been discussing Marlo sending this information to Latoya, but at the same time, you told this information to Kenya, right? So if your justification was that Marlo sent the footage to someone who wasn't in the room at that time, technically you did the same thing because you sent it to Kenya. Sonya, I see what you tried to do there, but Kenya is still within that group, right? Kenya is in the group. Yes, she wasn't there that night. She's not Latoya, who's not even a part of the cast, right? So I see what you tried to do there, but not really. But either way, Monyetta apologizes and she says, you know, I'm sorry for giving that information to Kenya or the way that I brought it back to her. Maybe that wasn't the right way to go about it. So I apologize. And Courtney's like, yeah. You know, that same passive aggressive, nice, nasty shit that she was doing with Kenya, except when she was touching Kenya and Kenya told her stop touching her. Yeah, we can see that's how Courtney gets down. So Marlo says, you know, at the end of the day, we still want to know what's true or not. Speaking to Drew, did you kiss Latoya or not? And Drew was like, you need to worry about getting your record expunged. Like, don't you got a bunch of like open cases that you trying to get situated? Like, that's what you need to worry about, not me. Now, Drew, just last episode, you was crying about your court cases, okay? So if Marlo was to bring that up, you can't say nothing. Marlo has really been keeping it cute because if I was Marlo, I'd have been like, bitch, wasn't you just crying about that $1,000 lawsuit? Huh? 2 nights ago, you was crying like a baby because you got someone suing you for $1,000, okay? If I was Marlo, I would have brought that shit up and I would have made her cry again because now you want to play, so let's play, okay? But Drew was telling Marlo to worry about passing her drug test, and Marlo was like, Marlo brings up that she's in technology again. Marlo was like, yeah, you know, all of that is public information, whatever. You can find anything online. Like, I know that I'm in technology just like Ralph. You know, we're both in technology. We're both in technology, okay? And of course, Drew gets mad and she's like, oh, so you want to bring up my husband? You want to talk about my husband? You don't know anything about me or my husband. And Marlo's like, yeah, I do. You can find out everything online. I'm in technology just like Ralph. Like, I can find out everything on the computer. Woo! Marlo had me cracking up this episode. Why in Marlo's confessional, she said, girl, y'all just passed the 7-year itch, so why you still scratching? I said, bitch, she should have said that at the table, bitch. That would have been a scene, okay? Then this whole karma conversation comes back up because Marlo says karma is a bitch. That's why things keep happening to people. Now we know that that was definitely directed at Kenya, right? Because that's the same comment that Courtney made earlier about Kenya's fall. She said that it was karma when she was speaking to Drew about it. So then they start speaking about Courtney's comment, and they're like, well, how did that even get brought back to Kenya? And Drew says, like, you know, we did have that conversation, and you said that Kenya's fall was karma. And Courtney tries to make it seem like, no, that's not what she said. Courtney tries to make it seem like her comment about karma was something general, like it had nothing to do with Kenya. Girl, stop. Like, why are you lying? Stop. Stand on your shit, okay? So Kenya and Courtney start going back and forth, and it's getting loud. And child, they're going back and forth about who's nasty, who has the bad energy, who deserves what. And you can really see how thirsty Courtney is for a moment, right? I do appreciate the fact that she doesn't back down, but that two things can be true at the same time, okay? Courtney's still thirsty for attention from Kenya. So in the next scene, we see that the ladies are going wine tasting, right? And while they're doing that, Marlo gets a text from Ralph. And I'm like, girl, why the hell is Ralph texting Marlo? What is that about? And I'm like, they better not end the episode here because I really want to know what Ralph had to say to Marlo. But Marlo does read the text, and pretty much Ralph is checking Marlo, and he's like,
bitch, I heard you had my name in your mouth. I heard you was looking for me, so here I go. Like, what's up?
That's not exactly what he said, but he said, look, it's been brought to my attention that you've been talking about me. I've let it slide before, but I would really appreciate it if you would just keep my name out of your mouth, right? So obviously, Drew told her husband the stuff that Marlo has been saying about him. And Marlo's like, I don't even really think I said anything bad about your husband. All I said was that we both in tech. Like, what's wrong with that? He's in tech. I'm in tech. We all in tech. Like, what's the problem? If he's really in tech, what's the problem? Like,
that nigga ain't in tech.
That's why Drew is really upset about it. That's why it's really bothering Drew, because Marlo keeps saying that she's in tech like Ralph, and Drew know that Ralph ain't in tech. And that's why Kenya said, yeah, but Marlo, when you say that, you're being facetious. We know that she's being facetious. So Marlo says that she's not going to text Ralph back. She's just going to address, his wife, because she's not texting no man back in no confrontation. And I get that too. I wouldn't have texted Ralph back either. But Marlo does tell Drew that she won't mention Ralph anymore. I don't believe it. I think next episode, Marlo is going to be back to saying that her and Ralph are in tech, and it's going to be a whole other argument, right? So as the ladies are having their discussion, some people come in and they do a performance for them. And in Drew's confessional, she said, oh, it was so nice. They were dancing, the pilgrims, they came in to do... Why did Drew call those people pilgrims? And I said, Drew, I bet you also thought that there was a real train on the Underground Railroad, right? I know you did. I know you did. She called those people pilgrims, and production had to tell her, like, Drew, they're not pilgrims, okay? And there are no more pilgrims. Oh. So they finished off the trip by doing, the little Cuff It challenge, that Beyonce song, Courtney don't have no rhythm, child. Like, my goodness, Courtney don't have any rhythm, okay? So they show us clips of the next episode, and it looks like Kandi is gonna be really going hard to prove that Drew is lying about kissing Latoya. Like I said before, we don't give a damn, okay? Drew, if you kiss Latoya, it's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Tell me what y'all think about this episode. Tell me how much longer you want to talk about Drew possibly kissing Latoya, because I'm over it. Wrap it up by the next episode. Wrap it up. We don't want to see it no more, okay? Let's discuss it down below. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. You already know the vibe, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!
Roxy says we're gonna talk about it.